Okay, so in this tutorial, we'll be going over the new linker tool. So make sure you're in your ProteinBlender tab and with a shaded mode on. And today, what we're going to do is create a protein. We'll have GFP linked to tubulin. So for GFP, we want 1GFL. We're going to download that. There it is. We actually have two chains here, so we're going to delete one of these. Maybe we'll delete B. And we're also going to download alpha tubulin dimer, and that is 1TUB. We're going to download that, and we can see that there. So let's move these apart a little bit. So I'm going to take my GFP, I'm going to select it, and I'm going to move it just so it's a little bit out of the way. Maybe rotate it around a bit. And tubulin as well, I'm going to select that, just rotate it. All right, so I think chain A is alpha tubulin, which is the bottom one here. So maybe we'll put that one, rotate this so it's on top. So alpha tubulin is on top. All right, since we're gonna want to make a linker from alpha tubulin to the GFP. All right, so the first thing we want to do before we make a linker is we want to create this entire thing into a puppet. And actually, even before that, I'm just going to change these colors around a bit to distinguish them a little better. So maybe tubulin will have that blue, two different shades of blue. And then GFP, we're going to have it green because GFP. Okay, looks good. All right, so we're going to make all of this into a puppet. So we're going to select everything here, and we're going to scroll down and create new puppet, and we'll call this tubulin GFP. To kind of better see how we're going to connect these with our linker, I'm going to change the representation. So for this, I'm going to change it to a ribbon so we can kind of see the termini a little bit better. And I'm going to do that for the GFP as well. I may as well do it for everything. Okay. And so what we want to do is now go down to create linker. And we want to create a linker between, so once we click on that, we have some new options here. So it wants us to define kind of the two endpoints of this linker. So I want to start on the GFP. So we're going to have from the C terminus of the GFP. So I think that would be chain A. I could have renamed these. I think maybe that would be better. So I can rename this chain A to, let's change this to GFP so we can better see what we're doing. Our linker. So create linker. And so we want a linker from the GFP and residue number, the last residue, which is 230. So it'll let you go beyond that. So you might want to just type in 230. It tells us what range it is here. And then we want to go to alpha tubulin, which I know is chain A, to the first amino acid. So it's amino acid number 1. And you have some other options here. We're just going to keep it at the default and press OK. And you can see we created this linker. So one thing I want to do is probably rotate this around so that it's kind of a little bit better oriented for this linker. Maybe move this over here so you can see there we have our linker. So we have from alpha tubulin to GFP. So we have a GFP alpha tubulin here. A few things we can change. So this linker, in order to edit it, we can go under the flexible linker menu and we can press this little pencil. And we have a few different options for the types of representation. So if we wanted to have a kind of a bumpy looking linker, we could do that. But since everything is already sort of a tube, we'll probably just want to go back to this tube. We can also change the color here. So maybe we want it to be like a yellow linker, and you can see we've done that there. And we can now animate the whole thing. Maybe we want to make this linker a little bit longer too, so we can do that. So right now we have the length about 30 residues, so we can change it to 50. That's a pretty long linker. You can see that there. Maybe we actually want to start shorter. Seems a little bit long. So we can go back and edit that. So let's scroll around here. Here we are. Maybe we want something that's more like 20 residues. Okay. All right, so that looks good. So if we wanted to animate this, maybe the GFP moving closer and farther away, this is already a puppet, and so we can just create some keyframes here. So maybe we'll start with, kind of the GFP pretty close by here. We can scroll down and create a keyframe, and we'll just keyframe everything here. Select OK, and then change to a different frame here, and we can move this around. Maybe we can rotate it. And we could also move the tubulin if we wanted to, but I think I'm happy with this. And make sure we have this selected, press OK. You can see we have this nice animation of our tubulin, our GFP that's attached to our tubulin. So we could add another keyframe here if we wanted to. Create keyframe, tubulin, and you can see we have that kind of animation.